Hey everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my Kairi discussion video. So I'm actually making this intro after the fact because when I originally recorded this video, it wasn't meant to be 2 parts. It was originally just going to be one long video, but of course I decided just to split them up to make things a little bit easier. Of course, before we get into it, I want to just remind everyone that this is all just sort of my opinion and my feelings as the series has progressed with this character. And if you feel differently, that is of course completely fine. If you love her, if you hate her, it's completely understandable. I also want to say that after this video, I probably won't really be talking about Kairi in a very, very long time. Basically, the only time that I can see myself talking about her again is, of course, when another game comes out that sort of expands and there's more to talk about. Or, of course, when I actually do get around to playing through the series here on YouTube. But in any case, this whole situation has just really put a bit of a damper on this character, in my opinion, and it's just so hard to actually even talk about Kairi with other fans at this point. With all that being said, part 2 is just of course gonna jump in right where the first part left off, so enjoy! Okay, so now it's time to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. Kairi was really never one of my favorite characters. And though there's not a lot of female characters to contend with, I think Xion is far more superior to Kairi. And we've seen a lot more of Kairi than Xion. Kairi is fine as a character. There's nothing really inherently wrong with her. She just doesn't get the screen time or development that she should, being like one of the main characters, or to me she should be. Like, even if you don't consider her one of the main characters, she was the second character to be on screen at the start of Kingdom Hearts 1. And yeah, at this point it definitely seems like she should be a main character, but in a lot of these games, I really just don't get that feeling. I liked her relationship with Sora more than anything, and how important she was to Sora. So, moving into Kingdom Hearts 3, we actually saw quite a bit of Kairi in the trailers, and it doesn't surprise me that people took it as we were going to see a lot more of Kairi, and that she was going to be fighting, and that she was just going to be this big important character suddenly. And then of course they got mad when that wasn't the case. And to that I say, what did you really expect? After everything I've talked about so far, what did you expect from Kairi? Did you really think that suddenly she was gonna be out there adventuring with Sora, as cool as that would be? Yeah, after 0.2, we see that she's going to train with Axel, and now that she has a Keyblade of her own, yeah, I did expect her to be learning how to fight within Kingdom Hearts 3, but nothing really beyond that. But I would be lying if I said I didn't think that she was gonna have a bit of a bigger presence in the game than she did. I mean, with Kingdom Hearts 3, you get kind of a unique thing. This time, Sora and Kairi aren't separated from outside forces. They know where each other are and what they are doing. They are separated by their own decisions. And because of that, yeah, I thought that they would be in conversation with each other, and that we'd see more of them together, since they're separated by choice. We get a cute scene where Kairi is writing a letter to Sora, except she doesn't send it because why would you have them send letters to each other? That's just crazy. I mean, it is an interesting bit to add to her character, that it's more for herself, just kind of writing it out and everything and getting her thoughts out, even if she didn't want Sora to see it. But the thing is, with everything else that we've gotten in the series with her so far, it's like I don't care. I don't have time for that. Show me them together. Show me some interactions and just send the letter, Kairi. I mean, there's a mailbox right there. It would be kind of a cool thing to add, to just kind of randomly at random points in the game, you can actually check the mailbox and get a letter from her, and Sora automatically sends a letter back, and you can sort of see ongoing conversation. Or I don't know, Sora has a phone now, why not call her up? But no, he's a little too busy, preoccupied with Riku.
I gotta tell Riku what a blast this place is.
But that's fine. Honestly, just changing some of these scenes, having Sora be like, oh, I gotta show this to Kairi, or whatever, would have gone a long way. I mean, think back to Kingdom Hearts 1. The scene where Sora is like, I can't believe I just flew. Wait until I tell Kairi. Oh, she probably won't even believe me. That was such an endearing little scene for him. And this scene in Kingdom Hearts 3 could have been the same kind of thing if it had been Kairi. I don't understand it. It is so weird. If you look at the series and these three characters' dynamics, you see a weird shift. Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories heavily focuses on the thought that Sora and Kairi love each other and are separated loves. And it's about Sora trying to get back to her, and he mentions her a lot in these games, and it's the symbolism, and just there's so much with these two, even with Kairi off screen, as I went through earlier. And then after 2, it kind of switches. Once Riku becomes good again after 1, the thing shifts. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora's reunion with Riku is more impactful to me than his reunion with Kairi is. And going forward, we have Dream Drop Distance, which is the Sora and Riku show non-stop. Now, I like Riku. He's a good character, and he's had a lot of development. He's fallen to the darkness, he's struggled to get out of it, he's battled his own demons. He has done a lot and has a lot of development. And there's just some weird scenes that going forward, that's just it's almost out of character for Sora in certain ways. I know Riku is his best friend, but I find it hard to believe that Sora would rather stay in the realm of darkness with Riku than go back to Kairi at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Yes, I know eventually, they do end up going back, but still, Sora completely accepts that he's just gonna stay there with Riku until Kairi's letter gets there. It would have been way more powerful if in that scene in Kingdom Hearts 2, Riku was like, we should just stay here, and Sora could be like, but all our friends are up there, and Kairi, we can't just leave them, Riku. Don't you want to see everyone again? I know I do. It would have made way more sense with Sora's character. His friends are his power, and yes, Riku is his best friend, but you think he would encourage Riku to go with him back to the rest of his friends. And earlier in the game, he did just that, just like, oh, well, you have to come with us, Riku. And he's like, oh, how am I going to face everyone? And, you know, like, it's so weird. I don't understand it. Anyway, back to Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, so the first time we see these two on screen together is after you save Aqua and you're back at the mysterious tower. And Yen Sid is talking and, you know, he's like, oh my gosh, you guys did great, but not all of us are here yet, blah, blah, blah. You know, story stuff. It's a fun time. Okay, so I know that in this scene, it's a very serious scene, and Yen Sid is talking very important stuff, and they need to pay attention. But still, wouldn't it be cute just to see Sora look over at Kairi as Yen Sid's talking and kind of smile, or have them sort of like want to talk to each other and like they whisper to each other as Yen Sid's talking? Maybe Yen Sid could actually catch them and be like, hey, pay attention, this is important. I mean, that would have been something. It would have been way more impactful than just nothing. They haven't seen each other in the entire game. Come on. Sora and Kairi's relationship is nothing but filled with just cute, heartwarming, adorableness scenes, and every scene it's just about them being cutesy and nothing too in depth, really, which also, you know, is kind of bugs me. But the scenes are cute and they work, so I like it. But here they missed the opportunity for one of those scenes. Okay, so now it's time for their very first interaction together in Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's the Paopu scene. Now, don't get me wrong. Them sharing the Paopu fruit has been hinted at and been teased since Kingdom Hearts 1. It was time for them to finally follow through and finally actually share the Paopu fruit together. I full-heartedly can agree with that. And the scene itself was fine. It was cute. Another cute scene for the books. And it did feel earned, but not because of this game. It felt earned because of Kingdom Hearts 1, because of the other games. This game does nothing to show you these two's relationship or give you any kind of context that this is coming. If Kingdom Hearts 3 is your first Kingdom Hearts game, you're gonna not even know these two like each other, let alone what the Paopu fruit means. And no, I don't expect Kingdom Hearts 3 to sit there and explain everything and go, you know, for the newcomers. I don't expect that. And I don't expect a bunch of scenes to sort of build on their characters, you know, just for the new people to the series who might be playing it for the first time. That's not what I expect. But I did think that once we finally saw them share the Paopu fruit, that it would be a little more, I don't even know the word. I mean, it was impactful, I guess. I don't know. It just felt off. Maybe it's because they didn't have any other scenes in Kingdom Hearts 3 until this moment, or what. Maybe the scene was a little rushed. I can kind of see that. I wanted to sort of revel in the moment of them sharing the fruit together a little longer. Maybe it's because it just was kind of pulled out of nowhere. Like they're just sitting there talking about how it's going to be the hardest thing they've done yet, and then Kairi pulls the Paopu fruit. It's like there was no build up for it in this game, and I don't know. It just felt off to me. Okay, and then comes the end of the game and we go to the Keyblade Graveyard. We deal with Organization 13 and everyone, and it's, first we die and Sora has to piece himself together, and we find out that the only thing keeping him there in the final world and keeping him with a somewhat human form instead of like a star would be Kairi, and she's believing he's gonna be okay, and so she's like keeping him alive, basically. She's keeping him there so that he can piece himself back together again and then save everyone else. Now, there's really nothing wrong with this plot point. Kairi being a princess of light means she has certain abilities, like bringing Sora to his full form from a Heartless. And throughout the series, especially in the beginning, before this tone flipped to Riku, it's established that Kairi is Sora's light. So, yes, it makes sense that she's keeping him alive wholeheartedly. But wouldn't it have been a little more interesting if it was Kairi who had to piece Sora back together again? Story-wise, it would have made sense. I wouldn't have questioned it. I mean, Sora and the others are just dead, basically, and Kairi is the only one that is having any kind of hold over anything. I mean, if she's able to keep Sora alive, her consciousness is alive too. It would have been a really interesting character building moment if all of a sudden she was on her own and everyone else was gone and she had to bring Sora back so he could save everyone. I mean, this is basically what happened anyway, but we just don't see it. We just don't actually see what she's doing, what she's sacrificing to bring him back. We don't see what she's going through. And this is a thing that happens all the time in the series. There's moments when it would be great to go to Kairi and see how she's feeling or what is going on and what she's sacrificing to do these things, or to, just mentally and emotionally how things are affecting her. And we normally don't get to see this. Also, because all the Soras running around that you have to collect are doing things Sora had to do throughout the game, it would be interesting for her to have to see everything Sora went through. As she collected the Soras, it would be kind of cool if even little scenes from the game played and she got to see what he went through. She never gets to go on these adventures or go with Sora, and so it would be a very cool way for her to see what happens and what he went through to get them all to the Keyblade Graveyard. But anyways, that's not what happens. Sora collects himself and basically tries to go back to save everyone else and get out of the final world. And of course, Kairi is the thing that is telling him where to go and pulling him in the right direction. And I like this. Yeah, Kairi is saving him in this moment, even if we don't really realize it at first. If her light wasn't there, Sora probably would have gotten lost in the darkness there and been stuck in limbo. And plus, the scene that plays out between the two is, again, yet another adorable scene for the books. Sora tells Kairi that she makes him strong, and, I can agree with that, because we've seen throughout the series, especially in the older games, that Kairi keeps him going in a lot of situations. So then the rest of the ending plays out, and we fight all the organization members, and we go to fight Xehanort, but not before Kairi gets kidnapped by Xemnas. Now, in her defense, this is Xemnas, a character that Sora and Riku had trouble fighting together. It took both of them to bring him down, and even that didn't go without its share of problems. When it comes to Organization 13, he's top tier. He's one of the big ones. So, yeah, I don't expect Kairi to just whip out her Keyblade and, defeat him and get unkidnapped. Like, I don't expect that. Yes, Kairi has been training, but her and Axel are both very new when it comes to Keyblades and when it comes to fighting, and they have only been training. They haven't really had any real world experience except for Kairi, bashing those 3 Shadow Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 2. Of course, we didn't actually get to see their training sessions at all, because why would we? But because Merlin was in charge, I can assume that it was a lot of, floating furniture going around. So it's really throwing Kairi into the fray here. And yeah, she's been kidnapped before under, less serious circumstances. Of course she's going to get kidnapped here. Thinking about it, it only makes sense. And it makes sense that Xehanort wants Kairi to be taken because, well, she keeps Sora going. He'll fight if he knows Kairi is in jeopardy. The problem I have in this scene with Xemnas kidnapping her is I think it could have played out better. It could have been executed way better, and honestly, I think if it was, there would be less people complaining about her getting kidnapped again. Yeah, Kairi struggles a little bit to try and get out of his grasp, but not as much as, you would think. I mean, imagine you were just being kidnapped by this black hooded dude who wields lightsabers. I don't know about you, but I would be fighting a lot harder. Yes, as I said, we've already established Kairi's not gonna get loose, but just showing her try and showing her try to fight to, get free, it would have been something. And having Sora have more of a presence in this scene would have also been great. I know he kind of runs to her afterwards, and he's all like, don't, or whatever. I don't even really remember too well. But it's like, come on, Sora. That's your girl. I can wholeheartedly say they should have focused on Kairi being kidnapped more than they did. After that, we don't see Kairi again until Sora gets to Xehanort. After he's defeated the rest of the organization, Xehanort goes ahead and, kills her. And we get a very emotional scene from Sora that works really well. But again, after this scene plays out, there is little to no focus on it. Yes, I know it's time to defeat the big bad, and we have other things to think about and concentrate on, but this is Sora's love. Don't you think he would be a little more focused on the fact that she's dead? Once everything is said and done, and everyone's safe and sound, it's only then do we get to refocus our attention on the fact that Kairi's gone. And we get a really nice scene of Sora wanting to go after her, saying that You know, everything started with Kairi and him being separated, and that he wasn't gonna let her be out there for one more second. It worked really well and is, of course, a really endearing moment for Sora, and one of his better moments in Kingdom Hearts 3, if not his best. And yeah, it fully makes sense that he would want to go after her despite the consequences or paying the price or anything like that. Sora then goes after her, and we get the end to the game, and we see that Sora has brought Kairi back, and for a second, all is well and good until he disappears. He pays the price for using the power of waking, something that was alluded to throughout the entire game. This is a really beautiful scene that mirrors the ending scene to Kingdom Hearts 1. It's really nice. Before I end this, I want to talk a little bit about what has been going on in the community. Long story short, this has really led to people disliking Kairi, saying she's nothing but a plot device, she gets kidnapped all the time, this and that, and, well, I think it's a bit overboard. And when I say a bit, I mean a lot overboard. At the end of the day, this is just a fictional character in a video game series. And though I understand being upset that she hasn't had more character development, as I am as well, the lengths that some fans have gone to is just a bit ridiculous. I mean, at this point, so many people think she's like the worst character ever. But then, on the other hand, you have the other extreme. The people who just love and adore Kairi. Though it's never good to be so negative and only see the bad in a character, it's just as unhealthy to put a character on a pedestal and just think they can do no wrong and that they're the best thing ever and that you would die for that character. So yeah, I can't get behind either sides because both are just weird and unhealthy. But honestly, the biggest thing to me that has annoyed me about this situation, I'm not even joking, is the people defending Kairi saying, oh, well, Lee got even worse than her. He didn't get much development or anything. And the way he was handled, like, blah, 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 he's just, like, even worse than Kairi. And to that, I say, no freaking way. I will sit here and defend Kairi for being kidnapped from Xemnas all day. But if it's between Kairi or Lee, man, it is not even a competition. He was handled way better. To prove it, let's just look at the fight in the Keyblade Graveyard, which they both were a part of. Kairi and Lee at this point are on an equal level playing field, as they both trained under the same master for the same amount of time, and are both thrown into the same fight. First off, let's go over the emotional stakes. Axel has way more emotionally at stake in this fight than Kairi does by a long shot. Kingdom Hearts 3 fully establishes his relationship with Saïx on top of what we already knew about the two. So yeah, in this fight, Axel has to defeat one of his best friends. Someone he's known for even longer than Roxas. Someone he's helped and fought for a very long time. And hey, remember when I said that I wanted Kairi to struggle a little bit more about being captured? Yeah, well, guess what? Axel gets his freaking Keyblade destroyed. He takes on the full force of Xemnas' attack. Again, Xemnas, the same character that Sora and Riku had a hard time fighting. And yet he's still sitting there trying to hold him back from his friends. He is down and out, been defeated, and yet he's still trying to keep Xemnas away from everyone else. The scenes with Axel were way more emotionally gripping. First off, he had the first scene to make me tear up.
Don't hold back, Lee. Promise?
Then we have everything with Sayax and this mysterious girl, which is both emotional and interesting. Like, to this day, I still need to know who this girl is. And then his reunion with Roxas and Xion. Look, when it really comes down to it, Axel did have a leg up on Kairi because from the previous games, he already had lots of character development, so he didn't really need much for 3. But at the end of the day, Axel is my favorite character, so of course I'm going to enjoy his scenes more and be more interested in what happens to him than a character that I'm pretty much neutral on at best. But if you feel differently, that's fine. I don't expect everyone to agree on me with this, but ultimately, I just think it's stupid how people are using this as an excuse for Kairi, like, oh, at least she wasn't as bad as Axel. Like, if you're gonna defend Kairi, fine, by all means, go for it, but don't throw another character under the bus. Because that's just not fair. I don't even really like comparing characters because each person has their own personality and their own reasons for doing the things that they do within a story. Like, I get the complaints with Axel, just like, oh, well, he already knew how to fight because he was in Organization 13. And I can understand being a little disappointed in how his story shaked out in Kingdom Hearts 3. But come on, he is a character who has gotten plenty of love throughout the series. I think it's okay for him to take a back seat for a game. And it's like, still, having said that, I still personally think that even with him taking a back seat, he still had more emotional scenes and a more gripping story. But I guess that's just why.
Sorry, boss. No one axes Axel.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. Kingdom Hearts 3 is out and done now. It's not like we can really do anything to change it. The only thing we can hope for is that Kairi gets her time later in the series, and I just want the fandom to sort of deal with it and not be so destructive about it. Kairi is just one character in this huge series, and romance isn't even really a big part of the series anyways. There's so many other things to focus on. But with that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Kairi? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.